I already regret making this video. So at the moment I am sorting out my reading book life, and I just organised all of the mangas I'm currently reading and all of the mangas on my TBR. So I thought now it's time to do it with my traditional books, and I thought I would start off with going over every single series I've started but not finished. So this includes series that are completed, but also book series that haven't completed but I haven't caught up with the latest release. And I am a serious mood reader, and I'm feeling the curse right now because I have 18 unfinished series. Help. So today's just going to be a quick one of me just running through these series and saying how many books there are. And I'm going to need your help. Which series should I finish first? This is actually hard for me. If you're like me, comment below. Are you someone that is unhinged and starts loads of different books at the same time and then doesn't finish them, doesn't finish the series, and then you're a year down the line and you remember you've actually got to start reading it again? Me. Anywho, let's get right into it. First series of the video, Outlander by Diana Gabaldon, and I have the first 6 books. I've read the first 5 and I'm currently on the 6th one, A Breath of Snow and Ashes, and this is like a historical fantasy. It's set 200 years ago and this woman gets transported back to the past. It's a phenomenal series, and it also has a TV show which is fabulous. This is meant to be a 10-book series. There's 9 books currently out and I know there's going to be a 10th one, and I last read this last August. Jesus. Oh, and look, here's my bookmark. I got 112 pages in. Oh, I'm just so bad. Look how big this book is. Like, I really need to be in the mood. And it used to be my commuter book, like when I went to work, but now I don't commute and I haven't picked it up since. So that is bad. Who freaking knows when I'm gonna catch up to that series? I'm halfway through, but damn. Then we've got a series I'm listening to via audiobook, and that is Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Rick Riordan. And I am on the first book, The Lightning Thief, and there is 7 books in that series, but I know there's tons of spin-off series. There's like 30 odd books or something. So who knows when I'm gonna finish the PJO series plus all of the other stories connected. Jesus, that is going to be a mission. And this is like more of a child's book. It's fantasy, it's got Greek mythology in there, like it's an adventure book. It's great. It is a good read, but the sad thing is that's gonna make this series a slow burn for me is that I'm listening to it on Spotify and I only get 15 hours of audio. So I already ran out this month and I haven't finished the first book. So I've got to wait till that updates, and then I've only got 15 hours a month. So this will be a long series for me. Then Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. This is a romantasy and it's got a lot of nods to like fairy tale and magic, etc. It's fabulous. I finished this book at the beginning of this month. It's August 1st today. So actually I finished it at the beginning of last month, and I don't have the 2nd or 3rd book, but it is a trilogy and it's completed. I love this, and this was such a quick read. So I feel like this will be one of the series that I finish first out of all of them in the video today, because I'm obsessed with Jax and I need to know what happens. I love it. Then the Mistborn series by Brandon Sanderson, an epic fantasy series with, has it got alchemy in? I can't bloody remember. It's got a table of references, metals. I'm adamant there's alchemy in this. Am I going crazy? Oh my God, this is the final book. I'm literally just was looking in the final book. What is wrong with me? I've only read book 1. Thank God I didn't see any spoilers just then. Wow. I am a dodo. Yes, Alchemy. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, and sorry if I'm not, but yeah, this is a trilogy and I have all 3 books, so really I have no excuse, but I've only read the first one and I finished this in like February, so it has been, no, I finished this like last October. Eek. But again, mood reader, and this is just fantasy. It's got a little bit of romance in there, but it's nothing, and I have been on a romance high right now, so yeah, I just haven't really felt like picking this up, but I really do need to. And I know that that is another trilogy to the series, and it's like a prequel, or it's set really far in the future. I don't know, but there's even more books, so sure there's going to be another series to add to the list in the future. Then Viking Omegaverse by Links Robinson, and the first book's called Stolen by the Wolves. This series has a total of 4 books and 2 novellas, and I've only read the first book here. And this is a Viking Why Choose series where each book there's a new male lead, but the same female lead. So there's a lot of guys and a lot of relationships going on, which I freaking love. I keep forgetting that I have this book. I loved it. I need to order the next book, but these books are kind of expensive because it's an indie author, and I want to support indie authors, but yeah, the only downside is because they're self-publishing is that their books are more expensive. So that's not stopping me. I just need to get the next book because, again, this was such an easy read. I would recommend this to anyone, but it is adult, so yeah, it's not YA. Then the Shepherd King series by Rachel Gillig, and I have read the first book, One Dark Window, and it is a duology. I just don't have the second book yet. I recently finished this in June, so only a couple of months ago, and again, I feel like if I had the second book I would have read it by now because it ends on a cliffhanger and I'm gagging to know what happens. And this is a dark fantasy with great romance in. Like, romance isn't the main thing about it, but the romance in it was chef's kiss for me. It was great. But the fantasy and the magical element in it, obsessed. Then the Lakefront Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. I have read Love Redesigned, but I have not read Love Unwritten yet. And I have the book, so I need to. But this is another chunky boy, so I need to really feel in the mood for it. However, I am hella invested. I knew this book would be about these 2 main characters, and I got the vibe from this book that there would be a romance between them. So I can't wait to read their story. This is a billionaire romance set in a small town, so it kind of could be classed as a small town romance as well. I love it. There will be 3 books in this series. I don't know if there'll be any more than that, but the 3rd book's out in 2025, so hopefully I would have read this book by then. Then the Gods and Monsters series by Amber V. Nicole. There's 3 books right now, but there will be a 4th book. It's due next year, and I think it's planned to be a 6 to 7 book series. I have read the first 2, and I'm currently reading right now The Dawn of the Cursed Queen. So yeah, I'm about 132 pages in, but I haven't picked it up in a couple of weeks. Mood reader. Like, I am a serious mood reader. I swear people say they're mood readers, but they can finish a book without picking up another book. I have like 5 books on the go. It's not healthy. This is a romantasy series with morally grey, badass FMC. Gods, monsters, supernatural beings. This series is a chef's kiss, but it's not like a breezy read. You have to actually focus and remember what's gone on in the other books. There's so many characters, there's a lot going on, which is why I haven't picked it up, because I haven't really been in that mindset. I've been in the easy, cute stories right now. Then Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and this will be a trilogy. The 2nd book has just come out, and I know there's also novella. but I've only read Powerless and I don't have any of the other books. I loved this book when I read it, which was like March. But now, I don't know if I love it or not because I've read about the controversy in regards to a lot of plagiarism and copied ideas. Loads of people said it's like the Hunger Games, and I didn't feel Hunger Games vibes. I know some aspects were very Hunger Games-y, but overall I don't think it was copy-paste of the Hunger Games. But people say it's the same as the Red Queen series. I've not read that, so I can't comment on it. Now it's giving me a bit of the ick, and I don't know whether to continue the series or not. That is why I haven't bought the second book. Don't get me wrong, this was a book I loved, but like the writing quality wasn't amazing, but I freaking loved it. But loads of things annoyed me. Again though, an easy read. Like, I know if I had the second book, Reckless I think it's called, I would have read it by now. I just haven't picked it up. But I have seen it £5 in the works. So if you haven't got that book, don't get it from anywhere else but the works, because it's cheap as hell. And I've got to mention, this is also romantasy. That is my main genre, romantasy and romance. People do comment a lot though about this series and saying that the next book is really good and the cliffhanger's great. So I probably will read it. I don't think I'm gonna DNF it because I haven't seen any of the big issues that other people have, but is that just me being naive? I don't know. Then The Poppy War by Rebecca F. Kuang, and this is a trilogy. All books are out, and I read this in April and I loved it, but again I just don't have the next books. And when I was in it, loved it. But this is like high fantasy and there is no romance in it, and it's quite dark, and there is some serious stuff that goes on in this. Like, there should be content warnings at the beginning of this book because there's not. It's very hard hitting, it's got some history in there, and yeah, focuses a lot on war. It is an amazing book. Absolutely loved it. Read it in a couple of days. Then the Three Dark Crown series by Kendare Blake. This has 4 books and countless novellas and prequels. So I'm just going to count the 4 books because I'm not going to read any of the novellas and prequels because I'm not that invested in the story. But I have listened to the first 3 books, but not the 4th book. The only issue is I was listening to this series when I had Audible. I don't have that anymore. So I didn't get to listen to the last book. So I bought them all. But now when I read it, it's just not the same. Like, the characters are in my head by the narration. So I found it so hard to go from listening to the first 3 books and then having to read the last book. That is the only reason why I haven't finished it yet. This again is a fantasy series. It follows triplets and it has their point of views throughout the book, and they're like meant to kill each other when they're 16. It is good. Massive cliffhanger on the last book. I kind of just want to get this series done. I like the series, I'm not in love with it. Then the Scholomance series by Naomi Novik, and this is the second book. I don't know where the first book is. I think I might have lent it out to someone. I read book 1 and 2 over a couple days. Loved it. And it was on a deal. That's why I bought the first 2 books. This is the only book I've annotated. I was trying to do like in my annotation era, and it adds so much time to the reading experience that I did not do it again, and I don't plan to tab any books in the future. Don't know if I mentioned, this is a trilogy, and the last book is The Golden Enclaves. I'm dying to know what happens with Elle and Orin. The end of the last book, literally, I was in pieces. My jaw dropped to the floor. I was dying. I'm shocked I haven't read the next book. What is wrong with me? Next up is the Twisted series by Ana Huang, and I have read the first book, which is called Twisted Love. And I think, what is the next book called? Twisted Games, and it is a 4-book series. I'm listening to it, so yeah, this will be a slow burn when I'm in the mood for it. It is a romance. I don't know. I don't think it's billionaire romance. It's just romance. And it's about 4 friends, and each book is focused on one of the friends. I liked the first book, but I did not love it. which has not motivated me to listen to the next book. But I have heard on the grapevine that the second book, Twisted Games, is way better than Twisted Love. Then The Hunger Games by Suzane Collins. I'm gonna get hate for this. I'm gonna get hate. I've got the trilogy. I have read the first book, The Hunger Games. I have not read these two. I will one day, but this is like massive back burner because the movies are better. I'm sorry, maybe it's because I watched the movies first, but when I read this, it didn't give me much. It was okay. And I think I just kept comparing it to the movies and they were just so good. One thing I did prefer of the series is that Peter is so much better in the book. He's such a wet wipe in the movies. I don't know why they did that to him. So yeah, I haven't read these two and I don't plan to read the rest of the series this year. And this is science fiction, dystopian. I mean, if you haven't heard of The Hunger Games, where have you been? Only a few more now, but the next one is the Wolf Den series by Elodie Harper. And this is a trilogy. I have read The Wolf Den, the first book, but I have not read The House with the Golden Door. And this is a book club read, and we just have not been in the mood to pick up the second book yet. It is an historical fiction set in Pompeii, and it is hard-hitting. Like, it follows these women who are forced and sold into prostitution, and they work in a brothel. Oh, some of the things that happen in this kill me. It's so sad. But again, it was a great book. So I am excited to read this series, the second and third book. I'm just gonna have to be in the mood for it. I think The Wolf Den was the last book I read in 2023, I think. So that just fell, that massive pile. I thought it would be quite cute having them stacked up in the back. That was a mistake. So the next book is Lightlark series by Alex Aster. This, I think it's going to be a trilogy. I'm not sure. I know there's 2 books currently out. The third book is coming out this year. And it's just, the author's just come out saying that this is going to be a movie. So that's why I picked this up. This has been on my shelf and I've had this book a while. But then I found out it was going to be a movie and I was like, I need to get reading the series before that comes out. But then I'm like, that's going to be years in the making. Anyway, I started reading this last weekend and I'm about 100 pages in. It is a romantasy. I know it's got some great enemies to lovers moments in there. Like, one thing that sold me on this book is that I heard that there's a moment where she's hurt and he's like, who did this to you? And I think she doesn't know who hurt her and he ends up murdering everyone in the room. It's something like that, but I am a sucker for an enemies to lovers trope. I love it. I love it so much. And this, I think, will deliver. Hopefully I finish it this month. The next series is the Constable Twitten series by Lynne Truss. And I have read the first 3 books. I haven't got the 4th book. What is it called? Psycho by the Sea. This is a murder mystery comedy book series and it's set in Brighton in 1957. Right, they're funny. The first 2 books, some characters gave me the ick. I nearly didn't continue with the series because it involved like an older guy and literally like a 16-year-old. But then Murder My Milk Bottle saved the day and completely sorted that situation out, thank God. So yeah, I like the series. Again, I just don't have the 4th book and I need to be in the mood for a comedy murder mystery and I just haven't been right now. That stack fell again, so now it's like this. Anywho, we're on to the last freaking book. So next we've got the Aunties series by Jessie Sutanto. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing her second name right. I have read the first book, which is called Dial A for Aunties. I have lent that to a friend, which is why I don't have that one. But I have not read the second book and I've had this ages, and that's 4 Aunties and a Wedding. Oh, I just have not been in the mood for a comedy book. That's the thing. I was in my comedy era. That's why I bought the Constable Twitten series, and my husband bought me the first book because it won an award. Like, it was like comedy of the year or something, Dilate for Aunties, and I did really, really enjoy that book. And actually researching for this video, I realised that there is a third book. So more books that I didn't realise I needed to read. So that is the 18 book series that I need to finish. Which one should I finish first? Comment below. Have you read any of these series? Have you DNF'd any of these series? Or do you want to read any of these series? Because I would probably recommend all of them. Some more than others, definitely. If you are someone like me and are a massive Moo reader, how many book series have you got on the go right now? I need to know, because I need to feel better about myself. Surely I'm not the only person that has 15+ series unfinished. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye guys.